Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast, episode 2. I'm John with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Join us after Exeter City drew 1-1 away from home against Carlisle United. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Not bad. Not bad, really, was it?
Well, we went to a form team and we came away with a point.
Yeah.
You know, people will tell you that Exeter to Carlisle is one of the longest trips in the league.
Yeah.
Apparently there's one more. There's some other team. I can't remember them. I don't think I've heard of them.
What, in League 2 now?
No, they're not in League 2. I think maybe they're from Devon. I don't know. I don't really go past Exeter, so I think maybe it's a further trip, but I wouldn't like to say.
I think there was a team. I don't know what happened to them.
No, I think when Cornwall snapped off and floated away, maybe they went with it.
Yeah,
anyway.
They wanted independence, didn't they? Where you got it now. You haven't got it.
See you later. So, yeah, well, it's a point, a valuable point, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have taken that before the game. The only thing I'd say is it does seem a little disappointing that we were leading for that much of the game and then we couldn't quite get the win.
There were definitely chances, weren't there, at 1-0 for us to finish it off, I think.
Yeah. Well, first half, we definitely, neither of us were at the game, were we? Too far.
Just too far.
Just too far.
I've been to Scotland, I didn't like it.
Yeah. We're very busy as well, you know. But yeah, I think, a point's good, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And to get 4 points from MK and Carlisle is good.
Yeah, in the run of death.
TM.
Yeah, which we're in the midst of at the minute.
We are. So we'll see what happens. But I think, all things considered, we've got to be pleased with that. And, you know, I'm pleased to say that we've come out of a game against the most informed team in the league. And they only managed to score against us with a kind of wonder free kick.
Yeah.
So that's not to be sniffed at.
Yeah, and I mean, they hit the bar, didn't they? It did look like we maybe rode our luck a little bit in the second half. Like, I mean, there's a few saves. Pim made a few saves. They were all look fairly straightforward, but they obviously had chances. And it made me a bit of lack of quality from them, maybe, in the...
Yeah. I mean,
when it mattered.
It's not easy to get past barrel-chested Christy Pym, is it? But he did a good job. And, yeah, I think it's kind of telling that the only thing they did get was that free kick, which, by the way, we're told was dubious.
Yeah, well, have you seen it?
Well, I've seen what you can see from a one-camera angle on the internet.
I watched it a few times, and, like, I don't... Like, Jake Taylor, obviously, is livid at, like, the ref and at the player.
Yeah.
Sort of, I guess, diving. But it looked like to me that it just kind of... Collins kind of went into the back of him, maybe? I wouldn't have... I mean, if that was... I don't know, I find it hard to argue with, really. It looked like kind of, like, fair enough free kick to me.
Anyway, nevertheless, 1-1, good result, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And Nicky Law, another goal. And what a goal.
What a goal. An absolute... well, he did the 2 foot, didn't he? He played himself up off the wall with with 1 foot and then screeched it in with his other foot.
I think he must have done that on purpose, I think.
Yeah, you know, like when you're kind of playing heads up on the on your garden wall or whatever. That's what he was doing. Well, hats off to Nicky Law.
Went for it, seen him off his line, dropped in, happy as Larry.
You can't help but watch those highlights, and, you know, massive, massive credit to those 178 people that went to Carlisle. That is not a journey to be sniffed at.
No, fair play.
Fair play to you guys. I think they're somewhere near Birmingham now on their way back, so they'll get back in time just for work tomorrow.
Do you know what? If we're still in the same division as Carlisle next season, I'm going to go.
Are you?
I'm going to go. I'm assuming at this point we're both going to be in League One.
Yeah.
Us via the automatics, Carlisle playoff winners.
You're going to go to Carlisle?
I'm going to do it.
All right, listeners, you heard it here first.
Because it's not all bad, is it? You can stop at T-Bay services.
No, surely T-Bay's past Carlisle,
No, it's just before.
Is it?
Just before, yeah.
Shout out to rustic services around the country. There's some debate in our group of friends about the quality of a rustic service station. Some of us like, you know, happy shopper parked by the side of a motorway. Others like somewhere where you can get a weird posh meringue.
What you're referring to is my intense hatred for Gloucester services.
Yeah, which I don't really understand.
I hate it.
I think you're mainly cross because they make you smoke your cigarettes a long way from where you get your coffee.
It's not that. It's the, I don't know. When you stop at the service station, I want to know what I want. Like, you know, you want all the normal stuff. You don't want...
You want a Burger King, you want an overpriced WH Smith's.
That's exactly what I want.
You know that the average Exeter City supporter on the way to Carlisle had to spend £35 on Mars bars just from those Smiths. Nearly got 4 Mars bars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why you don't like Gloucester services, I guess, but I just want a £4 meringue sometimes, and that's a place where I know I can score one.
Yeah. Do you want a leek?
Sometimes I do want a leek.
Stopping on the motorway for a leek?
Are we talking about vegetables?
Wait, yeah, the vegetable. Everyone wants the other kind of leek.
They do. I don't think there's a service station where you can't use the facilities.
No, but there's only one where you can buy a leek, as in the vegetable, and I don't see the point of that. It seems to be their main point.
So are you suggesting T-Bay services is like a more acceptable version of Gloucester services?
Yeah, much prefer it. Feed the ducks, you know.
Get macaroni cheese, homemade. Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll go, shall we? Yeah. See you there, Brunton Park.
See you at Brunton.
It sounded awfully windy. So, I mean, anyone that even managed to play football in that or stand there for a whole hour and a half, 2 hours watching it deserves full credit. So,
well, it looks like we're pumping it long a lot less post Jaden Stockley, doesn't it? So,
yeah, I mean that would not have worked in a windy game like that. I don't think.
Well, also wouldn't work when you've got no one over sort of 6 foot in the team.
No, that's probably the main problem.
But there was the chance for Jonathan Fort, wasn't there?
Yeah, Paul Tisdale's still complaining about winter winds.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in another game, but Fort seemed. Well, they didn't float it over, did they? They played it through nicely to him, and
it was a lovely little move, Law to Archie Collins. So I thought, like, look, the strength. If you watch that little chance back, the strength Collins has got on the edge of the box turns that player. Great play from the new fella Williams.
Yeah,
tees him up with his head. For all he's got to do is pick a side, and he hits it straight at the keeper.
I'm enjoying Fort. I think after that MK game, I thought, this is a player I can get on board with, and I'm looking forward to doing that.
I agree, and I think there's a couple other chances he had in that game where he won the free kick that led to the goal. I think he's starting to get into the right places, but like he maybe just needs to score. He needs to get a goal, doesn't he?
He really does, and we've said it before. But when I watched him in the Notts County playoffs, he looked like man on fire, a man possessed.
Yeah, and
we just haven't seen. We got glimpses of it, I think, last week with MK, but we haven't seen enough of that yet. And I think if he scores, he'll probably go on a run and get a few. And a good 5 or 6 or 7 goals between now and the end of the season from him would be very welcome indeed, particularly when you look at our attacking options, really.
Yeah.
I mean, dare I say it, I got a lot of time for anyone who can be described as having sharp elbows, but I don't think we've seen the best of Bowman yet.
Bowman?
Oh, yeah, good. Well...
Yeah.
He's got the look of Steve Flack about him, mixed with, if you're a fan of The Sopranos, a bit of Paulie Gautieri. You can't. I haven't got the American, Irish, Italian accent for that kind of pronunciation, but that guy with the silver wing. So I like that.
Yeah, the silver side.
I like that.
Yeah.
But he's yet to pick up gold medal.
We've not really seen
silver medal.
We've not really seen him yet, have we?
That was rubbish.
We've not really seen much of him yet, have we, Bowman?
No. I was looking at the stats earlier, and he's come off the bench 4 times and had 1 start, no goals. And if you look back, the last 25 games, which he's played 2018, 2019, he's only scored twice. Both of them obviously were at Motherwell back in October. Again, I mean, I think he looks lively, and actually, I think I'm more convinced by him than maybe I was by Stockley at the beginning. Right. It's easy to say that in hindsight. I think he's got something more about him, maybe.
Right.
I mean, he looks kind of scary, doesn't he?
He does, but maybe he's not a goal-getter. Maybe it looked like at Motherwell some of them at least were kind of sorry to see him go, but the stats would suggest from his time there that he wasn't there to score goals, which would suggest maybe he's good at, bringing other players in and helping other people score, but we need the other person. We've got people already that will do that. We need the person to actually score the goals. I mean, so there are other options. Matt J.
Yeah.
Who's not scored. I love Matt J.
I love Matt J.
The atomic ant. But he hasn't scored, has he? He hasn't scored a goal for us. It looks like
he scored once, didn't he, last year?
I don't think he did he?
Well,
I could be wrong.
Of course, you can get in touch with us via Twitter at Big Bank Pod or on Gmail, bigbankpod@gmail.com to correct us.
Yeah, I really please correct us.
But whatever you want to say about Matt J, I don't think there's an Exeter City fan that doesn't love him, and certainly as a person.
Yeah, I mean, look, the enthusiasm. You can't fault it, can you? But
no.
He just needs to be scoring some goals. But that is the one thing we need from him.
Yeah.
And I mean, other than that, so there's obviously Donovan Wilson.
Yeah.
Who we haven't seen yet.
No, and that'll be interesting.
He sounds like a
60s pop star.
Yeah, another member of the Beach Boys.
He does.
If one of them was going to be called something else, it would be Donovan.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy being related to one of the Beach Boys and, trying to forge a football career.
You're already in the shadow of, Brian, Dennis, and Carl.
And there's probably a lot of illegal drugs going around your house, so you're trying to avoid them as a young professional athlete coming through. So well done to Donovan for even getting here.
Yeah.
He's not been involved in any cults, as far as we know.
God only knows if we need him to score some goals.
It's true. Everybody should go scoring in the USA.
Yeah.
10 US. So anyway, we'll see about that. But please, can we see Ryan Bowman, Jonathan Fort, Matt J pick up a few for the end of the season? Because when you look at, thank goodness for Nicky Law, because when you look at his stats, I think he's got 7 goals now, 5 assists this season. That's huge. And we talked last week about how kind of significant a player he's been for us. And we're kind of the envy of, I think, lots of other clubs at our level for having him.
Well, I think I can safely say he's the best footballer in the world at the moment.
You heard it here first, listeners. Numero uno.
Show me a better midfielder.
There's a challenge. Get in touch on the internet. I mean, now Bobby Charlton's retired. Who else is there?
No one's come close for years.
Well, thank you, Nicky Law. And thank you to his dad, Dennis, for producing him.
In the dark, early morning hours of September 3rd, 1965, several people, including 2 police officers, saw unexplained red lights over and around Exeter. I'm Barbara Rumkunis, and this is your Exeter History Minute.
Now, down we come around to the section that we're calling Bury My Heart at Wounded ECFC, which is our upcoming game on Saturday. Bury, who they've not yet been taken to the cleaners. I believe HMRC are circling like the vultures they are, but they continue, and in fact they're thriving under the financial pressure they're currently in. If you look at the statistics for Bury, it's another huge game. Obviously, they sit in the 3rd automatic place.
Yep.
The one that we so covet.
Yep. That it is ours by right.
Ours by birth, right?
Yeah.
We deserve that, and nay, we will have it. But first, we must overcome these Mancunian fellas, Bury.
Yeah.
So, well, you look at the statistics, and it's kind of scary. They scored 62 this season already, which is the best in League Two and one of the best in the country. I think there's a couple other teams at the top of the Premier League.
They like a goal, do they?
They like a goal. And Nicky Maynard's their main scorer. He's 32, so he's no spring chicken, but he's obviously found his level, continuing to find his level at Bury. He's got 12 this season in about 23 appearances in the league.
Nicky Maynard.
Yeah. So he's someone to be feared, I think. So as well as Maynard picking up a lot of goals, there's also loads from the midfield as well as his kind of striking counterparts. So that's why they got so many.
Yeah.
But, they're not that frugal at the back, and it'd be really interesting to see. I mean, got to give a massive amount of credit to our kind of makeshift defence this week. The Moxie was either ill or injured, wasn't he? Injured from the game before, I think.
Yeah.
And yet still our defence were, really, like we said, Carlisle could only get through him with a free kick. Really solid. Again,
and that's with Sweeney in centre-back, back in centre-back spot. I mean, how many combinations have we had at centre-back across the last 2 years, 3 years? It's mad, whereas considering how good our defence has been for large periods of that time, like you normally associate teams that are performing really well with having this solid centre back partnerships, and we haven't had that.
Well, you think about City in the most recent golden era, and it's Taylor and Seaborn, that kind of combination.
Yeah.
And they were, 95% of the time they were there.
Yeah.
And we've had nothing like that.
No.
And yet,
I mean, we keep kind of like producing these really great defensive performances, and I put that Carlisle game as one. If you just concede a free kick from like 20 yards, then that's not a the fault of your defence, is it?
Not.
Like that.
No, it's huge, that performance, and I hope that Berry's kind of free scoringness might kind of hit an immovable object. And
named Dara O'Shea.
Yeah. No, you might not have noticed, listeners, on Matt Taylor's interview on Saturday afternoon after the game. He's got a new name for defence. You pick up on this?
No, what was it?
He's moved on from defence or defenders or a bunch of lads at the back. He's calling them the back boys.
Oh, the back boys.
Back boys. I don't know.
I love it.
I mean, he's pioneering in all sorts of ways, Matt Taylor, and so the back boys, or 4 or 5 of them, they're doing a golden piece of work at the back.
I like that. I don't know. It seems kind of like Irish, considering two of them are Irish, aren't they? I don't know.
Maybe that's what they're calling them in Donegal these days. The back boys.
The back boys. that is the first and last time I'm going to attempt a Southern Irish accent.
You wouldn't know it, but we're both of Irish descent, and yet we let that get through the filter. So there we are, the back boys. Matt Taylor's back boys, we're calling them. Taylor's back boys. And I like that, but what I really like is how well they're playing. And you look at Bury and you think, how are we getting through this? This is kind of a scary prospect. And then you think, well, actually, we trolleyed MK Dons, and we totally strangled Carlisle, who were the form team only above us until Saturday. Yeah. I guess they continue to be the form team.
I don't think there's that much to be considering the last 2 games. I'm optimistic. It's not. I'm not like too wary of Bury. I think we'll do it at home. I think we can. I think we'll do it
after MK and the kind of great reception we had.
Yeah.
For that match, and everyone, I'd hope that that's going to stand in our favour.
Yep.
You look at Bury; they've lost 1 in the last 10. They've won their last 3 away, but St James Park is not an easy place to come. There's winter sun.
Yeah.
There's the ploughed field.
Do they know about this winter sun?
I don't know.
Has anyone warned them? What do they expect?
We'll see what happens. But I think it's going to be an interesting one. And of course, we come up in an interesting. It's an interesting team in terms of Ryan Lowe, their manager. He's a bit like Taylor, I think. Played there. I don't know enough about them to call him a legend of the club, but he was there in 2 spells. Had for kind of long periods of time. He's young, born in 78 or something like that, so 40 kind of years old. This is his only managerial appointment. He came in as an interim manager, and they've kept him. You can see
that's interesting kind of comparison, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, really kind of similar comparison, I think. Yeah. And interesting that, I don't know, I mean, I just loved the difference between kind of tired old Tisdale last week and full of beans Taylor. And it'd be interesting to see how Lowe responds and how that fits in with the narrative of the season. And I mean, I suppose League 2 is always going to be a place where young people rise and old people fall, isn't it?
Yeah, you basically have 2 options, don't you? When you're appointing a manager, it's someone young from within the club, or who is new to management, or an older kind of lower league kind of veteran. Those are your options, really, aren't they? Or a retired Premier League defender.
Yeah, well,
who can't get a job anywhere else.
Well, and of course, Scholes has just gone to Oldham as well. I think that's been confirmed, hasn't it?
Yeah. So I think that's happening. Yeah,
we've got Sol Campbell, and we've got Paul Scholes.
Yeah.
So you get kind of that kind of thing, and I'm interested. I'd be really interested to know how Taylor felt about it all.
Yeah.
I think, in a sense, football management's changed an awful lot in the last 10 years, and the donkey jacket and the effing and blinding at the linesman, those kind of things have gone. You've got this new breed, haven't you? The Cowleys, Matt Taylor, Ryan Lowe, and then this funny thing of Premier League managers coming in, and surely
Although if Matt Taylor wants to wear a sheepskin jacket, I'll be right behind him.
I don't think he's found his identity yet, Taylor. I think, in terms of management garb, he doesn't know. He's not. Sometimes he's a suit guy. I think he looks good in a jacket and a jumper. Do I mean a jacket and a jumper? I mean a tie and a jumper, maybe
Yeah.
a blazer.
I don't think he's like an extroverted. He's not like a peacock, is he? Like someone else we could mention.
No, he's not. But also, he's not. I don't know if he knows what he wants to wear yet. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like FIFA, isn't it? Your first choice you make as manager is, what do you want to wear?
Yeah.
And I don't think he's made that decision yet. I think he's been focusing on kind of the unnecessary things like defence and bringing in transfer targets and that kind of stuff.
Come on, let's prioritise. Yeah.
If you want to get in touch and tell us what you think Taylor should wear next, or maybe what you'd like to see him wear, in some sort of promotion bus ride.
Yeah. Or what else you'd like to see him sitting on? Obviously, at the moment, as we mentioned before, he's sitting on that ice box. Maybe though, he could get one of those director's chairs.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah, with like manager written on the back, or like a swivel chair.
An office swivel chair.
Office swivel chair out on the touchline.
I mean, that would
Never been done.
That would be testament to how good our pitch is when he could kind of wheel himself up and down the line.
Yeah.
In the office chair.
Yeah.
Tisdale's moaning. Look at it. The ball's all clagging up in the corners as Taylor zooms past him.
Yeah.
In the style of an enthusiastic
It can't be
office
that
secretary.
bad, mate, because the manager has just delivered his half-time team talk in the centre circle without leaving his chair.
We'd like to see that, Matt. If you need an office chair, get in touch. We'll provide. What else would you like to see him in? I mean, the better he gets, the more things we do. Thrones, of course.
Yeah.
Let's get a nice throne.
I mean, people are already calling him KMT, so
What's KMT?
that stands for King Matt Taylor.
King Matt Taylor. That is
So maybe a throne would be. So I think probably we need to like win something before we can really start like.
It's the kind of thing that comes back to bite, yeah? Start sitting
Yeah.
in a throne before you've won anything.
Yeah.
Let us know. I mean, Exeter Mobility could provide him with some sort of scooter. A kind of granny shopping cart.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
I mean, it might be a bit weird. All of these things might be weird. We don't know until he tries them.
So please try them.
Yeah.
What about a swing?
It's the least you can. A swing, hanging from the dugout?
No, hanging from like the top of the stand.
Oh wow! Like, yeah, okay,
You get some good air on that, couldn't you?
yeah,
And when I used to play football, it was always you try and knock off the groundsman's hat while he's rolling the pitch.
yeah.
So you try and knock Taylor off his swing when Christy Pimm's making a kick out.
Yeah, or maybe the opposition, they get so obsessed with trying to knock him off the swing that they forget that they're trying to win a football match. This is getting weird.
Well, you're talking like it's pure fantasy, but stranger things have happened at Exeter
Yeah,
City.
I mean the ice cream box is pretty weird anyway. So
Yeah, think about it, Matt. I just want to see him standing up a bit. Stand
yeah.
up a bit.
Stand up and be counted. Anyway, so back to the Berry.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Well, let's see. I mean, I think it's going to be. Obviously, it's a big time of year. It's
Yeah.
a big game. It's not the biggest. Still Lincoln to come.
yeah,
But if we can pick something else up here, like a win against Bury, taking us to 7 points of those 3 games.
I think we kind of. I mean, it's not. It wouldn't be impossible, the automatic places, if we don't win this. But I think if we get 3 points from this, then we have to start thinking like maybe this could happen. It's such an important little run of games, and if we can beat them,
Yeah.
in the position they're in, the position we're in at this time of year, that's going to be massive. If we can get that, I think it would give us we've obviously got a good bit got a sense of belief at the moment, following on from this good little run of form, and I think just a win against them, that's going to that'll really kind of keep that going, and especially if we can win it, and one of those guys, presumably we're calling them the front boys, can get on the score sheet.
This reminds me, of when I said Granny come to stay last year for Christmas, didn't it?
Yes.
Wasn't that a disaster, wasn't it?
And there's another big game this weekend as well. Exeter City ladies are playing Buckland Athletic in the Devon Cup semi-final.
You're going, right?
I'm going to go. I'm going to take my daughter along. And it's one of the rare times that the ladies play at St James.
Right.
So that's not insignificant, I think. Good
No.
to be part of a kind of thriving club, isn't it?
Yeah, totally, yeah.
See the lads, see the girls' team, see the ladies' team, and see the men's team at St James Park, I think's great. So yeah, I'm going to go along and report back next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
So thanks everyone for listening. This has been a good time.
Yeah, we're enjoying it, aren't we? I suppose it's fun. Essentially, we would just talk about. I mean, obviously, we just get together and talk about. We talk about Exeter City a lot, but now we've just sort of built in a designated hour in the week to specifically do it.
Yeah.
And then we've just decided to sort of record it as well.
Yeah, so we hope you're enjoying listening to it, and thanks everyone for the feedback and the positive comments. We're really pleased that you're enjoying it too. We hope you are anyway.
Yeah.
Continue to get in touch. Don't forget you can do it on Twitter, Big Bank Pod on Twitter, and bigbankpod@gmail.com via email. You can find us on Facebook as well, and you can download or listen to this podcast via some of the main places.
Yeah, so we're on the podcast app for Apple users, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right.
And Spotify.
Yeah.
And we're going to put it on YouTube as well, right?
We're going to put it on YouTube, and we're going to put it through Facebook too.
Okay.
So anyone can listen.
So pretty much everywhere.
Pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
You can even just Google it and it comes up. So we hope that you can find a way to listen. Also, we've got one of those weird megaphones with a microphone attached to it. So I'm just going to drive round with this playing, like in the style of
like they
a 60s
do in
politician.
kind of like they still do that in sort of certain countries in Europe, don't they? When
Yeah.
there's an election coming up.
Exactly that. Imagine like a kind of Romanian politician trying to get some more votes in.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do that. Just going to tour around the suburbs.
Cool.
Bit like when Father Christmas comes
Oh yeah.
down your street.
Yeah.
Does that still happen?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
I saw him this year.
Well, yeah. So imagine that.
In fact, he came to my door, Father Christmas, from what is it? The sort of
Rotary
Club or
Yeah.
something. And he knocked on the door and I answered. He's like, "Oh, there's no kids around, is there?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, pulled his beard down. I was like, "Oh, this is like really itchy." And it's like he'd used it as a kind of like just to take a little breather from being Father Christmas by coming across me. Yeah.
Well, that's good. So I'll be a bit like that.
Give him a couple quid. I appreciated it.
I'll still be wearing red and white.
Yeah.
But I won't be jolly. And
But he will be if we beat Barry.
It will be. It will be. No one will be helping me. I won't have any helpers. I'll just be touring the city.
Yeah, I'm not coming.
So find us in any of those ways.
Yeah. Also, we want to hear about if you've seen any Exeter City players in the wild.
Yeah, I
As
haven't
in
seen
just
anyone
around
this week.
town. Me neither. No.
I guess they're still on their way back from Carlisle. They had to set off on
It does
Tuesday.
take a while. Yeah. Got waylaid at T-Bay services, feeding the ducks.
Yeah, who can blame them?
You can blame them.
They bought a meringue larger than their head at Gloucester. Well, if anyone wants to send us a meringue via email or Twitter, please do. If not, we'll speak to you all next week. Take it easy.
See you next week.